Hello, it says I'm live, so let's begin the stream. Remember, if you want to support the channel, just quickly I'll say before anybody gets on the chat, you can buy merch from the Teespring link below, or you can support me on Patreon or via Super Chat. So that's the shilling of my products out the way. Let's get on with the stream, and hopefully you'll get people in. Mike's in, excellent. You alright, Mike? Done much today? Bart came over today, but we didn't actually get around to filming any videos because it's been raining quite a lot today, and he's got a bad shoulder, so he obviously thought it was a good idea not to do a sparring video. Alright, cool. I still need to catch up on your videos. Hopefully I'll get time to do it today. I keep saying I'll catch up on them, and I still keep forgetting to do it when I've got a free moment. It's only when you're doing a stream or I'm doing a stream I think, oh yeah, I must watch Mike's older videos. Might be quite a quiet stream tonight by the look of it. I'm assuming just the regular notifications haven't gone out. Well, at least you're on. Might just be a quiet chat between us then, if we can think of what to chat for an hour. Yeah, I did a Discord announcement. I didn't do a community post today. Just because I thought it'd be interesting to see how many people do get a notification or not without doing one. Hello. Glad somebody else is on, because it was getting quite quiet then. The viewers are going up now, so I assume it was just YouTube being very slow sending notifications out. Yeah, I'm alright, thank you. I've been... Oh, I'll grab this while I think about it. I tested this on the dog walk today. It's certainly better than some of those masks, but not brilliant, so I'll probably still do a video advising people maybe just to go for a proper half-face mask. Yep. Thanks, Is the Right Helmet, and thanks, Evil Stew. Glad you enjoyed the videos. Now, some of these have a little bit of Kevlar in the lining, but they're not designed as Kevlar, like bullet-resistant helmets. They're blunt force trauma helmets. So the point of these is obviously to stop impacts. Good, right. I'm glad we've got people coming on now, because for whatever reason, notifications have just been quite slow. Yeah, well, the thing is, I'm still open to the concept that, you know, a mask may come out that will be as good as a proper half-face or full-face mask just for, like, dust use, but I've never found one. Because the problem I have with these, and it seems a lot of people have, is even with the ones in the nose clips and everything, you never get one that makes a proper face seal. So what I'll do a DIY video, I might do that tomorrow, although actually tomorrow I might film a video on the PTM1. What I'll probably do a video on is at some point, you know, like cutting up some cloth kind of materials that you can actually breathe through, just as a basic like P1 kind of filter. You know, just like cutting and stitching or stapling together a couple of different cloth layers, putting some sort of elastic bands or elastic straps on them, and making a DIY mask that way. I've never heard of level 5 Kevlar vests. You can get plates, which are level 5, I think. Alright, cool, Uncle Sasha. Yeah, don't forget to like the stream, everybody. It does help him out. But yeah, if you can't watch now, yeah, just watch whenever you get a chance later. All my gas masks I pretty much get from eBay. Cool. Is it genuine peach, or don't you know? Well, they're kind of designed for different things. Basically, things like plates, like trauma plates, are designed for actually stopping rifle rounds. Kevlar vests are kind of more designed as a shrapnel, sort of all-round protective from lower threat kind of things. Obviously, advantages with Kevlar, it's soft armour, so it can be wrapped around things. As far as I'm aware, Michael, they're perfectly legal to own as a civilian, but that doesn't mean places are going to sell them to you. No, I've said quite a few times I'm not a prepper. A lot of the militaria I collect would work in some sort of scenario like that. And there's some basic things I do prep for, just things that are, you know, realistic things like, you know, not being able to get, you know, having enough food and water in your house if there was ever a problem with supply in the local area or whatever. I'd be alright, but as I'm chronically ill, there is no point in me prepping for longer term things. You know, as I was saying, Reroute, it's just for stuff like hay fever. Because I do have proper half-face respirators, as you'll probably know if you've watched a lot of my videos. But what I basically am still on a quest to find is just a lightweight, comfortable mask that I can wear if I'm just doing stuff that might set my hay fever off. That's cool, Peach. As I've already said, eBay. Oh, it's a comment from yesterday about the jockstrap. No, it's a, like one of those half-face respirators that you can get on, like, Amazon and eBay. This works better than the other one I got, but it's still not perfect just because it doesn't make all that good a, you know, face seal. Again, the problem is there's, like, no way of really, tightening the band and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's got one of those bands there, but there's no way of really tightening that, which is a shame. You can move it down the mask a bit, but it still, you know, won't actually kind of do its job. But yeah, this worked better than some of them. You know, it got the worst of my hay fever stuff out there, but I could still definitely detect that, you know, it wasn't 100% a good seal. They're designed just as like little pollution kind of dust mask things. Like, you would never use it if you were removing asbestos or anything like that, but I bought one to see if it'd be any good for hay fever, but sadly it's not. So yeah, I'll definitely do a DIY video at some point making one, because people keep saying, can I do another DIY gas mask video? And the problem is making a proper full face respirator to work against vapour is really difficult without the right materials, but actually making some kind of dust mask, because I've been a bit inspired by that Soviet PTM mask that's hanging in the back. Yeah, the right helmet fogs. If I put it down, hang on, you'll see pretty quickly that that will start fogging up. Let's just check it's fully down, but yeah, if I breathe out. I suppose in theory you could probably put some sort of anti-mist stuff on the inside of it, and that would prevent the fogging a bit, but the issue is with these that, yeah, especially if you've got a bit of body armour on underneath it, a lot more heat's going to get trapped, and then, yeah, it will fog up. But they're not awful for fogging, but again, you know, they do fog. I've done videos on that SCP, but the easy answer is how long is a piece of string. It really depends how good the filter is, how big the filter is, how new the filter is, what you're exposing it to. There's so many variables in how long filters last. As in, if you want to prevent a gas mask from fogging up, RN, I mean, you can get, like, commercially available pastes that you can put on lenses, which, like, anti, you know, fog stuff for stuff, so they're alright. You can get inserts for some things that would fit a lot of masks, like the Soviet kind of inserts. There's a lot of ways of doing it, but I'd say the best thing is probably buying that commercially available anti-fogging stuff like ski goggles and then put that on the inside. Don't know what you mean by TMM1, but there's an L1A1 SLR version of the FOW in the background and a Lee Enfield are the sort of visible ones. Let me Google Respro cycling masks, Daniel, because the one I've got, as said, is alright. It's better than nothing, but again, that is pretty similar, looking at those, the Respro ones, to this. They look slightly different, but again, the issue is the nose bit doesn't look adjustable enough, and the straps, because it's just one strap that does up at the back, the problem I found with this one is that you kind of need two straps. You need, let me get a proper respirator out and I'll demonstrate. Just a second, it's down here somewhere. It's over there. Okay, so what I've got here is a Chinese copy of a 3M mask. So let me get this off. No idea, Michael, because they were trying to change the laws on a lot of that, and because I don't actually do shooting, I wouldn't know. But yeah, here's a Chinese copy of a 3M mask. It's actually pretty decent for what it is. The only thing I don't like about this is some of the straps are set up in a bit of a weird way, but that won't stop me demonstrating it. So on this, you've got a strap that goes around your neck, and you've got the head harness type one. So why that's good is you obviously do that strap up first on your neck, then you've got the rear strap on it, then you obviously pull this up and it's already got tension at the back, then that strap goes on like that. And the reason this works well is obviously you've got two straps, you've got one there, one there. With these sort of masks, they've only got the one strap in a sense, so the mask isn't kind of held under tension very well. Maybe you can try washing it, but other than that, not really. I don't really look them up, Harry, to be honest. I have no idea. Probably I would have no idea on that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why, as I was saying, half face masks are about the only sort of ones. Visually, the Enclave one, stats-wise, not the Enclave one, because you get, like, charisma penalties or something, don't you, for using the Enclave power armour. Alright, John? I've had reindeer, so that's a kind of venison, isn't it? But I've not had normal deer. I'll just take the, I wonder if this will fit with the riot helmet. Let me try it before taking it off. It probably won't, but just out of interest. Yeah, it might do. Oh yeah, look at that. It sort of actually works. I think it's still got a good face seal, but I mean, it would work better with my glasses off, I guess, but yeah, it seems to actually work. It depends on how big the filter is, SCP. But yeah, you're asking lots of questions on things I've already done videos on, so I'll just say to you, watch the videos rather than keep asking when it's already explained in the video. I've not really seen anywhere in the UK that seems to do venison. I don't think it's very popular here. There might be some like fancy restaurants that do it, but otherwise I've never seen it. Because I had the reindeer when I was in Finland, but I know obviously people do eat deer here, it's just I've never seen it in supermarkets or even at the local butchers or in any restaurants. Aldi sell venison, do they? That's interesting, Peach. Might have a look at that then next time in Aldi. But yeah, if you were gonna buy, let's just get this one off and I'll show you. If you're gonna buy one of these masks. Like, these Chinese 3M copies are actually pretty decent. The filters that came with this were crap, but you can put the actual 3M filters on it because it's got the same connector. But yeah, considering you can sometimes get these for less than £10 from places like GearBest, I definitely recommend one of these over, you know, going for something like this, because it does seem like these are a lot better. Again, it's a bit more uncomfortable. That's why I was hoping that I could find something that was foam that worked alright, but I don't know what you mean by that, thin softer. I'd have a SLR Riley, because I really like the old battle rifles. That's alright. Glad I've been helpful. No, you won't even be able to link it if you want to, because YouTube stops people posting links. I'm not really all that familiar with each of them, but I do like AK-74s. Well, I just got mine on eBay, but it was from B-Store on eBay, but right, let's see if we can get a bit of a topic going on the stream at the moment, because at the moment there's no real topics. It's just people saying, have you done this, have you done that? I never used them, so I can't comment, Mindbender. Right, let's see if there's anything interesting in the news quickly. There's people whinging about Trump a lot at the moment because he's in the UK. They're on about Tiananmen Square for some reason. Is it because of the anniversary of it? What's this? Bring your own container, say Waitrose. I know this isn't newsworthy, I'm just a bit interested in what this is. Well, look, you can pick and mix frozen fruit. I mean, I don't know how it would disregard the weight of your container, though. Oh, I see. You put the container on the scales, then you fill it up, then you put the item back on there so it can actually zero the weight off of the item. Interesting enough. I went through a big period of not watching the news at all. I watch it a bit now, but in general, I think if you watch the news too much, it can make you a bit paranoid, because with lots of stuff on the news, as they very rarely report on good news, if they've got like a 24/7 kind of, you know, news reporting on bad things happen, it can make you a bit paranoid. So, did everybody finish watching Chernobyl? Because the last episode was on today. It's a very good TV series. I'll be ordering it on Blu-ray when they release that. I saw you could pre-order the DVDs of it at the moment, but not the Blu-ray, and I can't be bothered to buy it on DVD because I obviously want it on Blu-ray. What do you mean it says there are only 4 people? There's 36 people watching at the moment. I don't really trust the BBC's reporting. I mean, I was on the BBC just now looking at the news, but BBC is obviously sadly taxpayer funded, and they're very biased in certain things. So have you watched episode 1 to 3 now then, Mike? Oh yeah, you said you watched episode 3, didn't you, the other day? It says 33 people watching on my screen. I think that's probably right based on the amount of comments coming in. Then you can probably complain to the seller for a refund, John, I guess. Unless they said in the description that it's like, you know, you're buying a grade B or C one and all the parts could be damaged. But if they're claiming it was in good condition, then yeah. What, because it's realistic, Mindbender? Yeah, the thing is, I think a lot of real life things like that do end up being a lot scarier, at least for me, than lots of horror things. Because you know of a lot of horror films that they're, you know, completely not grounded in reality. But, you know, when you've got things that are either dramatisations of real events, like the Chernobyl series was, or stuff that's, like, very much based on things that could happen. You know, like Fred's was about nuclear war in the 80s, and there's The Mad Death I watched. I bought the DVD of that, was quite good. That was a BBC thing about a rabies outbreak in the UK. That was quite good. So, you know, I find stuff like that is a lot creepier than most actual horror films, because obviously you know with most horror films it's complete nonsense, but, you know, when you've got stuff that's kind of real-life docudramas, whatever you want to call them. I've got an S10 flash hood, yeah, but that's the only mask I've got a flash hood for. Well, it's a real-life event, so I don't see how you can spoil it. I mean, it's probably best not to give out spoilers, because as some people have already said in here, they haven't finished watching it yet, but at the same time, it is just based on real events you can just look up on Wikipedia, isn't it? As I've said, sadly, a few times, if I was to do a big gun board, as much as I'd like to, like Weapon Collector has, it probably would rip the wall down, because it's like that cheap drywall stuff. A flash hood's a hood that goes over a gas mask to prevent it catching on fire if like flash bangs are going off and stuff like that. I really don't know. Is it to stop things from like insects from biting through it, or to prevent it ripping? I don't know, because I don't have a Tropentan jumpsuit. In theory, they can catch fire. I mean, it'd be pretty hard for rubber gas masks to catch on fire, but the flash hoods were used with like other anti-burn clothing as well. What gas mask are you wearing, SCP? They're not flash hoods, though, they're just chemical hoods. I don't think I've got an M40 hood, have I, other than the Butyl Second Skin, but I've got the M17 chemical hood, and I've got the I think it's a Czech M10's chemical hood. Yeah. The outside walls of this house are very good, they're brick, but the inside walls are, like, you know, very thin. It's basically like plasterboard, a cavity, and then another plasterboard kind of wall, so you can't really hang much on these walls. It seems like a good price for a full Zodiac suit, but I don't actually have a Zodiac suit, so I can't say how good they are, but yeah, £25 to £30 for a full West German rubber NBC suit seems right. The only thing I'd say is don't buy from sellers that say things like GP5 filter totally safe, has charcoal, not asbestos. Yeah, I've done a video on it. Is it called the Polish ML4? Not ML4. It's called the Polish ML mask or something like that, isn't it? But I've got it and I've done a video on it. I have to look what that is. Is peach. Oh, it's a bit of food, is it? Yeah, I've definitely eaten that before. It's got a fancy name, so I wouldn't know what it is, see? I don't actually have a Russian Gorka suit, I have like the Ukrainian equivalent. That's very good for cold weather. Dutch DPM is lighter. Dutch DPM is based off the older British DPM. When people say British DPM, they normally mean Soldier 95. Totally up to you, Ivan. Depends what you're cosplaying as. If it's for airsoft, I wouldn't really recommend them for that, but for cosplay it wouldn't matter. Well, I just find them interesting. A grilling suit? What's a grilling suit? Ghillie. Well, it'll get in the way of the clutch and everything. Not the clutch, but you know what I mean. The gear shifter. What's the proper name for that? With the manual transmission. But it's probably also a bit dodgy driving around in a full ghillie suit, isn't it? It's not an automatic. I'll have to Google it, but I don't recognise the name of that mask. Oh, if it's that's like the summer camo, I've done a video on that, yeah, and I might do another one this summer. Well, Flectarn is an actual camo, so why are you asking? Do you know where I can? Do you know any good Flectarn I can get? Well, you've answered your own question there, but Woodland, Soldier 95, Flectarn, MTP's kind of Woodland, US Woodland. I'm sure you can watch Dailymotion videos without an account, unless it's a thing where the uploader can set the thing. I think the uploader on Dailymotion can maybe do a thing where you either have to have an account to watch a video or not. But I've definitely watched stuff on Dailymotion without having an account. I'm not going to keep answering what's your favourite, what's your least favourite gas mask questions over and over every stream, so sorry, Damar, you're going to have to go back and do your homework. Caliber and size of the gun, really. Submachine gun is normally pistol rounds. Battle rifle is normally 7.62 NATO or above. Assault rifle is normally around 5.56. Light machine gun, again, machine gun means, do you mean heavy machine gun? What? Because it's generally a caliber thing, as MN guy says. There's a Finnish winter camo, isn't there? Let me just Google it. It's quite cool. Unless I'm actually thinking of Sweden or somewhere else. Yeah, if you Google Finnish winter camo, yeah, it's Finnish MO5 camo, but the winter one, it's just grey and white. That would probably, like a kind of digitally one, that would probably work quite well in urban. But there's also a variant of that Finnish camo that's got white in like the other one, I guess, for partial snow areas. That would probably also work in urban areas. Well, not a real SKS in person, but I know what the SKS is. Shit hits the fan, so something very bad happens, Amanda. I've already got some new gas masks, as you can see in the background. I've got a helmet coming that should be quite cool, but that might even come tomorrow, actually. I'll have to check the tracking info when the stream's over and see if it's updated to say when it should be arriving. What was that site called? Cyberpower, that was it. That was one of the ones I was looking at for the new PC. I'm not obviously going to get one until the new Ryzens are out, but I just want to see what their sort of typical price is at the moment for CPU best, and then I want Ryzen. Yeah, quite a few that are just over $1,000 for a pretty decent rig at the moment. Yeah, you can get ones with Ryzen 7 2700Xs and RTX 2070s, but obviously I'd go wait for the Ryzen 3s to come out. But, yeah, I hate it when people get classic guns and destroy them, or any classic things like that. No, I've not heard of that one, Daniel. Let me Google it. When did that come out then? Is that quite a recent thing? 2019? It's coming out with Pacific Rim, but I know that's obviously not what you're on about. Have you not been reading any of the things recently, Mindbender? You know, Intel's massive amount of security flaws, the fact they still charge huge amounts for their processors, and the fact that AMD have got to 7nm now, but Intel's still on 12. You know, there's quite a lot of reasons not to buy an Intel. I mean, if Intel then decided to actually massively lower their prices, so they could actually compete again, sure, but... Well, 14, yeah, so 14, not even 12nm. I'd say probably an AK of some sort for that, for Metro cosplay. Oh, I think they're called filter socks or something like that, Ween, but I think the point of them is to work as a basic particle filter and to keep them filter from getting like damp from snow and stuff like that. Bear in mind, as I've said before, because I've already got a gaming PC from years ago, because I need a PC primarily for video editing and rendering, it's far more strenuous than something that's built for games. So basically, if you end up buying a CPU that's good for rendering videos, it will end up being good for playing games, but not necessarily the other way around. So first and foremost, when I'm buying a new PC, I'm getting something that's going to be good for rendering videos. That's the primary reason I want a new PC. So when I render YouTube videos, because I'm obviously doing 3 a week plus the streams, I'm going to be able to get something where I don't have to wait, you know, hours for getting a single video to render. Yeah. Ask for pop songs, gets opera songs recommended. That's alright, Mike. In theory, 64 system, yeah, but a lot of it, obviously, is going to be clock speed of the individual cores, and it's going to be how well the CPU's made as well, because the thing is with a lot of CPUs is that's why I like actual benchmarks of them, because in theory a company can say, our CPU has this many cores running at this whatever clock speed, but in theory benchmarks are actually much better for determining that. Yeah, but it's gotten to the stage now, Mindbender, where AMD is actually beating Intel on single core performance. Because the problem is, what Intel's done is, for the last few years, they've not bothered innovating. They've basically gone, we've got a monopoly on CPUs, we're not going to improve. And then AMD's actually put a lot of money into research and development. And now their CPUs are getting much better and much more competitive. Because yeah, back when I got my PC, the FX 9590 I've got in this one, yeah, compared to an Intel, it has absolutely awful single-core performance. AMD would just compete by making it very cheap. And, you know, slapping as many cores on it as possible. But it's now gotten to the stage where AMD is actually offering essentially better single-core performance, more cores, and much cheaper prices. But yeah, if you've not read into it, Mindbender, it's worth reading into how much AMD has improved over thing. What I'm looking at getting is, like, is it the 3900X it's called? But it's the one AMD is wanting to sell for $500. Let me see if I can get the stats up for it. I mean, as I said, take it with a grain of salt, because obviously it's not out yet, and although I think there has been some independent benchmarks done on it, you can't always believe everything they say. So it's 12 cores, 24 threads, 4.6 GHz is the max boost clock. Base clock is 3.8 GHz. And it's meant to be 105 watt power draw. So less power draw than my current CPU and a lot more powerful. And obviously that's 7nm. But that's meant to be about $500 that's going to retail at. That's good, Peach. But yeah, something like that for that price isn't worth. Isn't worth. is worth getting, isn't it? Just if it's cheap enough, just as a sort of stock spare thing. Yeah, there's quite a few old horse gas masks. Some of them look cool, but I don't have the space for one. And a lot of them are quite expensive. But yeah, I like the ones as well that have the goggles built into them, so they're like a full face thing for a horse. They're huge. Budget knife recommendations. The thing is, most of the knives, I mean, if you want a basic budget bushcraft knife, some of the Moras are alright for that. No, I've got no interest in karambits, as gets asked every stream. As people have said, if you get one cheap enough and it's a good model karambit, it's probably good, but I've just never had an interest in them, to be honest. Yeah, Swiss Army knives are always a good choice. But again, they're more of a multi-tool, aren't they, than a proper knife. If I want to carry a knife for the sake of having a knife, and I mean, in obviously a very legal thing when I've got a reason to carry a knife, I don't primarily carry the Swiss Army knife for that. I like the Swiss Army knife for the bottle openers and the screwdrivers. If I'm using a knife for the sake of having a knife on me, something like that is generally a lot better. Yeah, but they didn't drag it out, did they, into like a 12-episode series or multiple series or whatever. I'm glad with Chernobyl they just did 5 episodes, and, you know, it's very well polished for the episodes they did. Hopefully, because I think what drove the prices up recently was a lot of the Bitcoin mining stuff, wasn't it? Again, I haven't actually decided on what GPU I'm getting yet. I'm going to see what's available at the point in a couple of months when I buy the PC. And then, probably, I'm going to be willing to pay quite a lot for something that's a very good GPU at the time. But I'm going to have to see what Nvidia and AMD is offering. It might be quite likely I go for Nvidia over AMD, though, because Nvidia is generally a lot better when it comes to GPUs. For the higher end stuff. But I've got an RX 480 in this PC at the moment, and that's done very well for when I got it. No, what's the Gulag films called, Slingshot Warrior? I mean, obviously I know what the real Gulags were, but is it like a documentary one, or like a docudrama? Band of Brothers is very good. Pacific's quite good as well. I bought it from a Russian seller on eBay. Ah, cool. So you got one of those metal dosimeters, did you? Or get it out again like I was showing on the stream yesterday? Did you get one of these then? This kind of dosimeter. Yeah, the thing is with the new Nvidia ones, from what I understand, they're not all that much better in games, are they? But because they've put some sort of ray tracing thing on them, they're a lot more expensive. eBay. As I've said, when people ask me where did you get this mask, eBay is generally the answer for 99% of them. That sounds interesting, Slingshot Warrior, if it's well made. Do you know what it's called, though? Yeah, just wash it with water, Ajax. Don't use any chemicals because it's a silicone mask. It might degrade the mask a bit. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally not all that worried about C2 filters. I've breathed through them a lot, but yeah, obviously a C2A1 filter is better to breathe through, but that's good. Yeah, he sent me a lot of stuff in the past, as I said, and I've been very happy, because I used to buy off of him for years. And then he figured out it was me buying stuff from him. Because obviously I'd buy something from him and then I'd do a video, and there was always the coincidence that, you know, a particular eBay account would buy something and then I'd do a video on it. So he sent me, you know, like a nice note at one point and a couple of free NBC suits, and I was chatting with him back and forth a bit, and he sent me quite a lot of free stuff since. Alright, we'll do Slingshot Warrior. Well, the scope generally would sit around it, won't it? Because the lens is smaller than generally the ring on the scope. I've not got enough GP7 filters to open, but they do contain asbestos. There's not even a GP7 filter on that GP7 in the background, but they do contain asbestos. I think Hype was saying it was only in like the early 2000s that Russia actually stopped using asbestos in filters. Right, Michael Kingsbury. Let me Google him before I forget and the chat moves on. Go on IMDb. Gulag Magadan. Gulag Vorkuta. Right, cool. Oh, so he's done... So each one is about a different gulag, is it? But yeah, that looks sort of interesting. Who was saying about wasted time? Sorry, I missed the original thing Jacob was referring to, but yeah, that's the thing with a lot of stuff is even if it's something a bit crap, if you enjoy your time wasting, enjoy wasting your time on something, it's generally quite good. Time well spent, isn't it? Generally, the metric I use to see if I get good value for money from something is the amount of time I spend, say it's a game, for example. The amount of time I spend playing the game compared to the price of it is how good value for money it is. So, let's say I spent £30 on one game and I played it for 30 hours, and I spent £30 on another game and I played that for 5 hours. In general, I always think the one I put more time into is better value for money. And obviously if it's something like Gary's mod, which only costs a few pounds, and then I've got hundreds of hours of enjoyment out of, then obviously that's even better value for money still. I think I paid about £40 for my M40 Stella. I got it from Germany, actually. Which particular Scott mask? Because the GSR's a bad mask, but things like the M98 are quite good, so it really depends on the Scott mask you've got. But in general, treat it like another gas mask, really. Yeah, the only thing I found with the CM4 is it didn't make a very good face seal for me, but again, it's based on the Draeger M65. So that's a common problem for M65-like masks. What was I saying? The CM3 makes a better face seal for me, so while the CM4 is objectively a much better mask, based on, it's got a voice diaphragm and everything, the CM3 for me I'd recommend over the CM4, just because I think the CM3 would fit more people. No, I've never played Fortnite and I don't have any plans to. I was playing Mordhau with some friends tonight, which was quite good before I did the stream, although it did crash twice, which was annoying, so sooner I get a new PC the better. No, it's a real one, Bing, but deactivated, so it'll never fire again, but it's a real one, in terms of like it was a real British military one that they've then, ground the firing pin down, they've put a weld in the barrel and all that, taken some of the internals out, but it's originally a real rifle, it'll just never shoot again. Minecraft and Fortnite always comes up in the streams, don't they, Peach? And I don't even play either of those. I actually legally own Minecraft, but I just never got into it. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Autistic man can't enjoy Minecraft, but I don't know, it was always one of those things where I never got into the creating side of it too much, so I'd make a little house, kill some skeletons and that during the night, and then get bored very quickly. $6.99 for a Yugo M1's a great price. $6.99 for almost any mask would be a great price, I imagine. Even masks I don't like the Scott GSR, if you were getting it for only $6.99. It made me think of worth a buy now. $6.99! Oh yeah, for $6.99 it's worth a buy, whatever the mask is. Yep, I don't know how good an idea it is to breathe through an old Yugo filter, but yeah, if it comes with a filter as well. Does it come with a satchel? Yeah, everything's good. Thank you, George Jacobs. I'll only be on the stream another 15 or so minutes, as typically I'm getting hungry now. But And yeah, when the stream ends, I need to check the tracking info on that helmet that's coming to find out what day it's going to come. What mask have you got, Slingshot Warrior? I've probably forgotten. Israeli civilian mask. I'd pay about £30 for. Obviously not £30 postage, but around £30 to £40 in total for a 4A1 or an M15. A bit more for the M15, obviously it's a military mask and a bit better, but... Ah, cool, I'll definitely get around to watching that video. Is that video up yet, Mike, or is it, or is that the one you're editing now? But yeah, I'll definitely watch that. Well, I'll watch all your videos, as I said, it's just... it's annoying, when I've got spare time, I don't often get around to watching videos, but saying that, 13 o'clock podcast video, I'm on their Patreon support, so I get the videos a day early, and their Tuesday's video I could have watched from yesterday, and I've still not got round to watching that, because I don't know what I've been doing, I've just not got around to watching the videos, even though I've got up early the last couple of days and had a lot more hours in a day. I've just been constantly doing stuff all day, I guess. Out of interest, Mike, do you render videos in 720p or 1080p, and how long does it generally take you to render a video? Because I'm curious about how long it takes you to render a video compared to me. You know, obviously when I get a new PC it'll be a lot faster for me, but because you don't have, like... You have just quite a basic PC, don't you? I'm just sort of quite interested in how long it takes you to render a video. I'm sure if you only breathe for it once you'll be fine, Alfie. I don't actually know if there's any asbestos in that or not. It's just, you know, a filter of that age isn't really going to work as a filter anymore. That's very cool if you got one for that cheap. I haven't seen that one. I'm notified of your videos on the video-based channel, but I've not seen it. Oh, okay, so, yeah, mine's a lot better than that, Mike. My one is roughly 2.5 times the length of a video for a 1080p one, assuming there's not loads of overlays and that. So if I do a 10-minute video, rendering it in 1080p takes about 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, but as I said, sometimes it crashes and I have to re-render it. So, yeah, my current one renders a lot faster than that, but with the new CPUs and DDR4 RAM, I should be looking at under 10 minutes for a 10-minute video. Yeah, I wanted to do a sparring video with Bart today, but it's been raining all day, and he's injured his shoulder, so we thought it was probably best not to fuck his shoulder up even more by smacking each other with bokkens. But I'll definitely have to try and get around to doing that video of him at some point. I think he said he's going to have to book a doctor's appointment because he's getting a bit pissed off that he's had like a bruised shoulder for a week and a bit now or whatever, and the pain's not subsiding. I sometimes watch Lindy Bage's videos. I don't particularly take him seriously, but I do enjoy his personality and that. But yeah, I'll have periods with channels like Lindy Bage where I might watch for like an hour or 2 hours just a load of their videos in a row. Depending on what kind of coat and that I'm wearing, Daniel, yes. In the summer, where I'm wearing a lot less layers of clothing, no, I don't bother carrying a lighter. But, oh, actually, I'll tell a lie, I do, because, on my keyring, I've got the peanut lighter on there. So yeah, I do always have a lighter on me. If it wants to light. Hang on, let me put the keys down in that hand. There we go. So yeah, I do always have a lighter on me. But if it's more like the winter, then I'll have a clipper on me or a jet one or whatever. But the peanut lighters are very good in the fact that the fuel in them tends to last like 6 months to a year. So, you know, you can literally refill it once or twice a year, and then as long as you're not using it very often. Now, as I said before, I'm not a big fan of Shadowversity for reasons I've gone in before. Skilligrim, or however his name's pronounced, is alright. Yeah, that's the thing, Mike. When you're rendering videos, you're generally using like 99 to 100% of your CPU, so if you start doing other things in the background, obviously those things can lag and your video rendering will slow down. In general, bigger filters are better, but it does depend on the quality of the filter as well. I used to watch a lot of Hickok45. I've not watched a lot of his videos recently. Paul Harrell's probably my favourite YouTube gun channel. Yeah, we were on about that earlier, Oppo. I wonder, does OBS let you put WebMs in? Let me have a look. I thought I saved the WebM earlier of the Atlov slamming the folder away. Was this it? This is it as an actual image. But yeah. Hang on. The Atlov being a cunt as usual. But yeah, did I have that? Yeah, where were you when the explosion happened? It depends on how they strike it, Mike. A lot of things just strike it in the sense of the video either can't be seen by people or like ads get playing on it that go to the original thing, but in theory they can put a strike against your channel due to copyright, and that I think would stop you streaming for a while. Over 100 unknown 101, but I don't know the exact number anymore. I've lost count. I've mentioned people can talk about conspiracies on the spooky streams, but the only thing I want to be careful of if I do a conspiracy theme stream is it doesn't turn into stuff like Holocaust denial, because I imagine stuff like that would be pretty spammed in the chat if we did a conspiracy theme. I think for Film Club, Mike, you should just pick a film and tell people to watch it or not watch it, find it for themselves, and then they can comment or not comment, really. Because I think otherwise, if you're just always trying to find things that you have to upload or find for free online, you know, a lot of people still don't bother anyway, do they? I've got 2 bags I could set up as bug out bags, but neither of them are currently set up, Bing. Although I've got my car set up that if I ever needed to take my car anywhere in a hurry, it's got all like the supplies needed in it. Let me see if I'm... yeah, I've got a Finish M61 V2 and a Finish M61 V3. I've got a weird old Finish mask that we can't really identify that says Sabre on it. And the Finnish World War II civilian mask, and I've got a Scott M98 made in Finland. But I thought I saved that image earlier, but I can't actually find it now. 10 USD, 10 US dollars, that's about £7, isn't it? Depending on what condition the scrims or the shamans, I never know how they're meant to be pronounced. Depending on the condition of them, I may pay that for something like that. Otherwise, I'd say that's a bit of a rip-off. I can't remember the number for that, Milo. Does anyone remember? Is it 36? I can't remember. Oh, 42, there you go. I suppose it's not 3.6, is it? Alright, I'll be on a couple more minutes if anyone wants to get some interesting questions or statements in. I will be streaming tomorrow for definite, but I haven't picked a time for the stream yet, but I'm tempted to maybe do a stream tomorrow, earlier in the day, just so people in different time zones can see it. Because on the last couple of streams, they've all been in the evening. So I might do one early afternoon for people who are in, like, Australia or whatever, if that's a better time for them. They legally can't be biased, but they still are. The BBC is like, oh no, we're not biased, even though we clearly are biased. Here you go, here's another good one I've seen. I have to just reduce this down in size so it fits on the actual thing. There you go. So it's at 3.6. There's the fire and everything going on in the background. And he's got, what was it he wanted? Butter and caviar on toast. Butter and caviar sandwich. I like the fact that Trump upsets a lot of people. As said, because I'm not in America, I don't follow how well he's implementing his policies all that well, but so I'm looking at my Chernobyl meme folder to see if I had that video saved, but I can't spot it in here now. That's annoying. Somebody's edited "This Is Fine" to be with Dyatlov quite well. There you go. I'll put this one up in here before I finish the stream. I assume I'd probably get shot if the UK got invaded, because we don't have guns here, remember? Well, most people don't. Why would you get your news off of Facebook? Facebook isn't a news website. It depends who invades us, I guess, Richard. No, I've never done scouts or anything like that. Oh, the BBC's pretty cancerous. I like how you're saying one bias form of news is better than the other bias form of news, because I like that bias form of news. No, most news media in general is pretty terrible, because there's always a massive agenda behind it. The thing is, right, with journalism, you can actually go back and look at like TV reports from like the 70s and the 80s, you know, like some famous historical event, and the journalists often are much more, you know, they're much better. If you either have the investigative journalists, you know, they're blowing the lid off of something that's really important, or you have the, you know, like journalism where they're just plainly reporting the facts. They're not, you know, having an agenda against either person. The news is just plainly reporting the facts, June. That's not around anymore. €35 for a Mark III helmet's a pretty good price, considering, you know, they're they're not they're not all that easily available, but they're not really rare. So yeah, €35 seems a fair price or something like that. Well, I've heard a lot of the anti-vax stuff now, isn't it? Is popular. Remove the everything is well, not that one, but not great, not terrible. Um, But yeah, the problem is like a lot of the anti-vax stuff now, isn't it, is becoming more popular because people look at stupid pictures on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook, just so you know. Where, you know, somebody shares an image, you know, doesn't have any proper sources on it, but they're like, oh, did you know vaccines cause autism? Or they'll get a random picture of like a dead kid and they're like, this kid died because he had a vaccine. And then, you know, idiots look at it and go, oh no, there's a dead child there. I should not vaccinate my children. Right, anyway, I'll finish the stream now, but as said, this isn't a political stream tonight, so just be warned, people, you know, don't talk too much about politics on, you know, non-politics stream, because if you get timed out or deleted, that's probably your own fault for arguing politics with people on the stream that's not about politics, but otherwise it's been a good stream, thank you for that. I'd like a hay fever vaccine, that would be great. So, yeah, see you everybody. Thanks for watching.